Hey everybody, it's a great day to make the Lazy Daisy cake. And in one of my short videos, I made the cake and I said if it was delicious, I would do a video on how to make it. It was delicious. I've made it at least 3 times since then because it was asked for. So I have my recipe here and I'm going to take you through the whole process. So the first thing you're going to do is take a half a cup of milk and you're just putting it in a pan until it simmers. And it looks like it's about simmered. Then we're going to turn the heat off. We're going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. Gotta love that vanilla. And a tablespoon of butter. And we're going to stir this until the butter melts. Once the butter's melted, I'm going to remove it from the heat and we're going to let it cool. And then the next thing we have to measure is, let's see, we're going to need 2 eggs, a cup of sugar, a cup of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. All right. In a medium bowl, we're going to add the sugar, which is right here. And we're going to put the milk mixture and the eggs in there. We're going to mix that all up. Then we're going to add the flour, baking powder, salt. Pour it in a pan. We're going to bake it for 22 minutes at 350. Then the trick of it is the actual coconut topping that we'll be making. And that is what makes it so delicious. Okay, this butter is almost melted. The vanilla in the milk gives it like a, kind of like a, I don't know, what is that? Milk paint or something they called it? It looks like milk paint. All right, there we go. So we have that taken care of. We're going to let this cool. This is the bowl with the sugar in it. Here's my 2 eggs from my wonderful chickens. Whoops. I have my flour in this little measuring cup, and I just went ahead and put the baking powder and salt right on top of it. I am going to get a Polish pottery baking pan out. We'll go ahead and spray that with baking spray. There we go. Alrighty. So I'm just going to dump this warm milk right into the sugar. Oh, it's probably going to melt that sugar up. Woo! And then I'm going to mix that up a little bit before I add the eggs. I don't know about you, but I love cracking eggs, but I like cracking them on like glass or ceramic. Like when you have to crack it on plastic, a lot of times I have to dig out eggshells. There we go. All right, let me wash my hands since I got egg on it. All right, so we're gonna mix in these eggs. I'll tell you what, the fresh eggs look so different from store-bought eggs. The yolks are a brighter color. They sit up. Beautiful. I'm so glad I have my chickens and that they like to lay eggs for me. All right, that's combined. So I'm just going to dump in, again, this is a cup of flour, a teaspoon of baking powder, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. There we go. Mix that together. Can you see? I don't want to turn this. This is what I would do. I would go to show you what it looks like and pour it out of the pan onto the counter, out of the bowl, sorry. Oops, there goes, here I go with the flour. Oh. All right, so once you get this combined, it's not a liquidy batter. It's kind of, well, you'll see when I pour it in the pan, but it's not a, all right, let me get a spatula or a rubber spatula because we want to make sure we get every bit of this. The first time I made this cake, I was like not sure about it, but when we cut it and people took a bite out of it, I'm not kidding, everyone was like, this is delicious. But it's so cool. Like you'll see at the end, you take this because you cook ingredients, you add the coconut. When the cake comes out, you dump the coconut mixture on top and then you put it under the broiler. So it just kind of toasts the coconut and kind of, I want to say it cements it into the cake, but it's so yummy. Okay. Here we go. This is a 9x9 pan. It's not a thick cake. And once it's done, if you wanted to do like bars, you could just cut it into small bars instead of like a slice of cake. Just want to make sure it's evenly spread in here. I love baking and I like eating it when it's done. All right. So I'm going to get this in the oven. And then when I start doing the frosting part, I'll turn you back on. Okay, so now we're going to do the topping to the Lazy Daisy cake. So you're going to need 9 tablespoons of brown sugar, 5 tablespoons of butter, yay butter, and a 1/4 cup of heavy cream, and 1 cup of coconut. So in this pan, we're melting the butter, and the brown sugar's in there, and we're going to go ahead and add the cream. So we're going to get all this melted, stirred together. We're going to get it to boil. So I'm first going to make sure the butter's melted, and then the brown sugar, the cream, it's all together. Then I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit higher because the recipe says to bring it to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, we'll take it off the heat. We'll add the coconut to it, stir that right in. And then when the cake comes out, we're going to dump this on top of the cake, put it back under the broiler, and like 3 to 5 minutes. You want the coconut to toast, but of course you don't want it to burn. So whenever I do anything like that in the broiler, I leave my oven door open and I basically just stand there and wait for it so that I don't do anything to ruin it. All right, this is starting to sound like it's going to boil. I see some little bubbles. And then I'll bring it over there on the rack. Oh, there's nothing like butter and brown sugar. Oof. Okay, there's the boil. Here's the coconut. And listen, if you don't like coconut, this cake is still delicious if you don't put the coconut in it and you just put the butter, brown sugar, cream mixture on top of the cake. Just for that, I would just broil it for maybe 1 or 2 minutes. But I love coconut, so I would never, ever omit it. Okay, that's ready to go. Again, I'm going to get this rubber spatula so that we can get every bit of that out of here and onto that cake. All right, see you in a few minutes. Okay, so I have the cake out. We're going to put the topping on, and I just turned the broiler on. So hopefully it'll be ready for us when I'm ready. All right, so here we go with the coconut deliciousness. Just gonna dump it all on here, then we'll spread it out. Oh, it smells so good. The cake smells good. The coconut smells good. All right. So the reason I made this, my oldest daughter had it one night when I had it for dessert after dinner, Sunday night dinner. And one of her worker friends is leaving, and tomorrow they're doing a little celebration, goodbye. And Carly said, Mom, can you make that lazy daisy cake for me to bring in? Because she would love it. What was I going to say? No? I don't know how to say no. Anyway, okay, we're going to put this under the broiler. I'm going to put it in there, and then I'm going to come turn you around. All right, there it is. I'm going to keep it open so I can see what's happening. I am going to set my timer for 2 minutes just so that I can already see it starting to bubble. I think it's going to be ready in less than 3 minutes. It's really bubbling. It's kind of deceiving though. With the element on, it looks like it's changing color, but it's just from the color of the element. Wow. I hope you can see the bubbles happening here. Very cool. I just burned myself. Okay. I think I'm going to leave it in a little bit longer. Hopefully the next time when I take it out of there, I won't burn my arm. I don't know about you, but I constantly get like burns on like my arms just from sticking them in there too far. I'm turning the broiler off because I can actually see the coconut toasting on the top. All right. So yummy. All right, friends, be shiny. Thanks for hanging out with me today.